Welcome back to Crime Scene 24/7. If you're new here, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a story no one else will show you. A Connecticut mother, Kristen Hogan, stands accused of a crime that chills the bones. In August 2025, her estranged husband drank wine from his own fridge, then collapsed, convulsing, unable to speak. Doctors diagnosed ethylene glycol poisoning, the very chemical found in antifreeze. Hogan now faces 2 counts of attempted murder and interfering with an officer, charged by the Connecticut State Police. Court documents say that prior to the poisoning, Hogan's phone was linked to her husband's Wi-Fi during a court session she missed. Investigators found alarming internet searches on her device. How much monoethylene glycol would kill you? Potassium cyanide and versions thereof. She initially denied wrongdoing, claiming confusion, even citing that she recognized cyanide from a TV show called Psych. Kristen Hogan allegedly put ethylene glycol in both wine and iced tea as a form of retaliation, not murder. She later confessed she just wanted to make him sick. The implications are terrifying. A home, a bottle of wine, access, trust, turned into a weapon. In this video, we'll trace the timeline, examine the forensic evidence, unpack Hogan's motives, and ask, was this act born out of desperation, rage, or something more calculated? Let's begin. It was a humid August evening in Ridgefield, Connecticut. The kind of night when windows stand open and the hum of cicadas drifts in through screen doors. Inside a modest home shared by Kristen Hogan and her estranged husband, a bottle of red wine sat in the refrigerator, opened days earlier, but not yet emptied. On August 10th, 2025, that evening, he poured himself a glass. The wine, innocuous in appearance, carried a sinister addition. He drank. Hours later, he awoke in the darkened kitchen, overcome by nausea and confusion. His speech slurred, limbs shaky, vision fading. By dawn, the man's condition had worsened. His mother found him stumbling through their home, retching, barely coherent. She called emergency services. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors initially suspected a stroke. But repeated lab tests revealed something far more alarming. Ethylene glycol poisoning, the toxic alcohol found in antifreeze. He was placed on dialysis as his kidneys began to fail. Meanwhile, investigators were already probing the scene. The wine bottle was collected, along with remnants from his fridge and the refrigerator's shelves. Forensic teams began swabbing surfaces, testing liquids and tracing toxins. Outside, whispers spread through Ridgefield. Neighbors exchanged glances. How could a glass of wine become a weapon? How much did someone have to hate to lace a drink meant for your dinner? Some believed this was a crime of passion. Others thought it calculated. Either way, the night that began like any other ended with one man fighting for life, and the question burning in the minds of investigators: who would poison a loved one, and why? Soon after that harrowing night, investigators shifted into overdrive. They secured the wine bottle, iced tea containers, and refrigerator shelves. Every surface became evidence. Forensic chemists ran tests. The results were damning. The wine showed ethylene glycol, the very chemical used in antifreeze. Court documents reveal that Kristen Emily Hogan had already searched online for lethal substances. On July 28th, her phone dived into search terms like monoethylene glycol, potassium cyanide, and how much would kill you. That digital trail aligned chillingly with the poisoning. Records also show that the wine had been originally opened at a dinner on August 5th. It was corked, refrigerated, and left untouched, until August 10th, when her estranged husband drank from that very bottle. He became violently ill. Doctors first suspected a stroke, later confirmed poisoning, and placed him on dialysis. The victim told police that while he waited at court for Hogan, a hearing she failed to attend, he received a notification. Her phone had connected to his home's Wi-Fi network. Later, in interrogation, Hogan confessed. She said she dumped ethylene glycol into his wine and iced tea, asserting she meant only to make him sick, not kill him. As detectives examined her phone, they mapped her location history. On August 7th, Her device pinged near their house at multiple early morning times. She claimed to be in Rhode Island. She told police she had been away, but the data didn't support it. She had full access to the home, co-owned it with him, and was among the last persons in the house before he drank. Even more disturbing, Hogan had made a search for penalty for not appearing for a court hearing on your own motion on August 6th. The day before the hearing, she skipped. Detectives pieced together the sequence: mishearing, phone access to home, poison in wine, lethal ingestion. But even with all that, one question gnawed at investigators. Did she act alone, or did someone else whisper the instructions? She sat in interrogation rooms, staring straight ahead, refusing to meet her husband's eyes. Kristen Hogan admitted to spiking both the wine and iced tea, but claimed she only wanted to make him ill, not kill him. She said the idea spiraled from rage, betrayal, and resentment after their separation. Investigators stared at the searches on her phone. Monoethylene glycol amount to kill, potassium cyanide, safe levels of antifreeze ingestion. The chilling truth, she wanted control over his fate, their divorce, his silence. She swore she'd watched episodes of Psych before, where cyanide threats played into the plot. That became her defense. But her phone records told another story. She was at home the night before, connected to his Wi-Fi, even though she claimed to be out of state. Court filings showed compelling overlaps: dates she denied being home, times she skipped scheduled court appearances, and the moment the poison passed his lips. Another detail stood out. She had access to all parts of the house: the fridge where the wine sat, the kitchen sink, the route from garage to dining room. Neighbors later testified to seeing her car near the home that evening, arriving much earlier than she admitted. Though revised statements would emerge, the pattern was clear. Opportunity matched motive. Still, the thought persisted. Could it all have been planned by someone else? Could she have been pushed or instructed by an unseen hand? Investigators kept digging, hoping every digital breadcrumb would expose the final piece of a deadly puzzle. Before we continue, if you've been following this story and you want more cases like this, real investigations, real evidence, and the questions that never seem to have clear answers, take a moment to subscribe to Crime Scene 24/7. Here, we don't just tell stories. We search for truth behind the headlines. Every week we uncover new evidence, new testimonies, and sometimes the missing details that mainstream news leaves out. So if you believe every story deserves to be told, hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and join a growing community that refuses to look away. The courtroom was silent when prosecutors displayed the bottle, the same wine Matthew Hogan had nearly died from. Inside, traces of ethylene glycol, the primary component of antifreeze, shimmered faintly under the forensic light. The label was familiar, the kind of wine couples toast anniversaries with. But this one carried death in every drop. Kristen Hogan sat expressionless, her hands folded neatly on the defense table. Behind her, rows of reporters and neighbors filled every seat. Some stared in disbelief. Others whispered about the woman they once saw smiling at school events, walking her dog through the upscale neighborhood in Stamford, Connecticut. Prosecutors painted her as methodical. They said she studied the effects of antifreeze poisoning, learned that it caused kidney failure, and calculated that it could appear like a sudden medical emergency. The defense countered that it was an impulsive act, a cry for attention, not murder. Her husband, still visibly shaken, testified that he trusted her, even when things got ugly. His voice broke when describing the moment paramedics told him his kidneys were shutting down. "She looked me in the eye while I drank it," he said softly, and she said nothing. Public reaction was swift. Social media turned the case into a nationwide conversation about domestic betrayal and psychological control. The image of a Connecticut housewife plotting with antifreeze against her husband captivated the country. A chilling reminder that danger doesn't always hide in dark alleys. Sometimes it smiles from across the dinner table. And when the verdict came, it sent ripples through every community that had followed the trial. Kristen Hogan was convicted of attempted murder and reckless endangerment. As the judge read the sentence, she barely moved, just a slow blink, then a faint sigh. Outside the courthouse, Matthew Hogan said only 6 words to waiting reporters. "She tried to kill me once." But even after sentencing, something about the evidence still didn't sit right with detectives. Because hidden within the encrypted chats recovered from her laptop, one message caught the FBI's attention, a line that didn't match her style of writing. "It's done. He drank it all." It was sent seconds after her husband collapsed, but Kristen's phone records showed she wasn't near her device at that time. So the question now haunted investigators. Was Kristen Hogan truly acting alone, or was someone else helping her deliver the poison? If a trusted spouse could turn a glass of wine into a weapon, who can we really trust behind closed doors? Was this an act of cold calculation, or the work of someone else who wanted Matthew Hogan dead? Tell me what you think. Was Kristen Hogan the mastermind, or was there another hand guiding her actions that night? Drop your theory in the comments. I read everyone. And if you want to uncover more shocking cases where ordinary lives hide extraordinary crimes, make sure to subscribe to Crime Scene 24/7. Because here, the truth never sleeps.